Hi, everyone. A very good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining our second webinar session. We at RKEDR are hosting our second session now. And today we will be talking about embracing of soft skills by legal professionals. I know it sounds a little intriguing, but we'll get into it soon. Here's a bit about RKEDR Federation. We are committed to revolutionizing dispute resolution through technology and innovation at RKEDR. Um, so just a bit about us, what we do, we are cost effective, we are transparent, and what we do is we provide ODR platforms online for arbitration, mediation, and conciliation with a 24/7 access to justice. Therefore, we are there anytime, anywhere. A key focus is empowering legal professionals through education, skill development, and training in ADR platforms. Therefore, today's webinar is aimed to help you all form a better understanding of your own skills and how to basically converse, no matter which way it is. Let's begin. So today, please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Colonel Anil K. Suri. He's the director of RKE Area Federation, a 4G veteran, retired as Lieutenant Colonel, and institutional administrator for 2 decades. He has been mentoring educational institutions, supporting schools and institutions of higher education towards constructive offerings. Mr. Suri is also an esteemed director here, so we welcome you, sir. Sir's journey from military leadership to education began as a manager of Army Public School, Dholakua. He was also a part of the team that conceptualized Army Institute of Education. And with 2 decades in the education sector, he has led institutions like Vidya Devi Jindal School, Shiv Nadar School, DLF Foundation School in Gurgaon, and many more. Sir, we are very, very excited to have you on board. It's a pleasure. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much for being so kind and very liberal. Thank you. So nice of you. Jai Hind, dear friends.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, everyone. I think before I start, I should request all of you that when you leave this platform, you can offer two very valuable feedbacks. One is I was wondering if Friday afternoon 3 p.m. is the right time for all these workshops. So you can give us an honest feedback. So that is one. And second, of course, on the session that we are doing, it's a very vast field. It's a very broad spectrum. So I have tried actually to relate it to only the legal profession where I think most of us to which we belong to. So that has been an effort. But yes, it's a very vast field, and to do justice in a short time, because there are topics within topics in this field. So I'll restrict out of the skills as manifested into various categories, as we see in the next slide. So we have, these skills, basically the skills are abilities that help us to perform in very, very simple manner. That these are abilities that we all have, and also that we can train ourselves to be. See, we are all good at something, we weaker on some aspects of life. So these skills, we call them soft skills, hard skills. And now the soft skills are also being termed as life skills. Some institutions, in fact, when World Health Organization started categorizing skills, they started with life skills. CBSE also adopted it. So there is a lot of overlap between especially soft and life skills. Why I have written hard skills in the center, I mentioned this is because hard skills is a purely technical professional aspects of skills in various careers, various professions. So today we will just be touching upon soft skills, or we may also call them as life skills. So we'll carry on our session or our journey with soft skills. Okay, so this soft skills, I mean, when I was looking at the history, everything, when we go into the history, I think the foreign nations have already been, they are more proactive in taking lead. So I read somewhere like the business strategy was evolved out of World War's military strategy. So soft skills are also said to be, given by US military. But then when I delve deeper into it, because this is a topic very close to my heart, I do find that even when we go into ancient times, what we had gurukuls, and we had these so-called princes taking, getting their education. So if you relate, and even if you relate to the Ramayana, I mean, going part that way, when lessons on how to run an empire, how to hold an office, when the princes, such young princes, went to Gurukul to adopt these lessons. So I think there was in ancient times in our nation as well. We didn't call them by these. I think there is again an overlap of uh, we are very strong in family values. So values and soft skills, kept merging. But yes, as a nation, we have a very strong tradition or a strong basis of soft skills. So it is just that probably now in a world which is now more global, which is more connected, probably to give everyone, to bring everyone at an even platform with global companies coming in, huge law firms also becoming more global in outlook with the cosmopolitan setup. So I think the soft skills have, there has been an attempt made for soft skills to be benchmarked and, brought up at a certain level where probably we may have across the nations, across geographic locations, people adopting to certain standards of practice. So when we relate to soft skills, two things always come to my mind. If you have seen a movie called Satya Pe Satta in, I think, 70s or 80s. So that is another, if for those who have seen it, there are, just to start with this little story, there are seven brothers, and the eldest, Amitabh Bachchan, gets his bride, Hema Malini, and the first time she prepares a meal. And these, how the brats are, and especially a boy's home. So six younger brothers, how they, when they find the meal laid on a table, because they had never dined on a table. So they find the meal laid on a table, and they all pounced on it and they made a mess of it. I mean, so my mind always goes to that other extreme. And the second one, for those of you who follow, uh, Sister Shivani and the like, there's always they always delve into, into meditation, into softer qualities, into very human touch. We are all human beings, whatever age we may be, whatever offices, professions. Ultimately, we are human beings. So that interpersonal relations, that human touch, is what someone like Sister Shivani, I mean, I'm taking her name, I'm taking two extremes. So soft skills somewhere revolve between both these extremes. So I'll start with this. Okay. So the soft skills, I mean, at a higher level, we categorize them into very many ways with be it leadership skills, be it critical thinking, empathy, decision-making skills, problem-solving skills. But how I have tried to delve with this topic is, I always believe that every occasion in life is, our life starts with very small steps. I mean, if we relate to actual practical life as a child, starts with small steps. And I think if we are very much firmed in, if we are strong in our small steps, we probably take big leaps in life later. So soft skills, I always define soft skills as SIPs in life. There are SIPS, where S is the soul. I stands for invoke, which is more interpersonal. P is provoke, where it is our team effort, and S is I call it serve gun, which is more of ethics. Ethics is the foundation of, I think, any organization, any home. So starting with our soul, I will take the first aspect of life, soul, which deals with self. So I'll cover the aspects which are related to ourself. How I have categorized these are into optimism, creativity, empathy, emotions, learning, and dashing. Optimism, I came across, there is a friend of mine sitting here, very much an advocate himself, a young man. Whenever I have discussed anything with him, हो जाएगा sir. That's the response. हो जाएगा sir. Done sir. So when I relate optimism, it is something very positive. It is where you're already in your mind. They say our battles are won in our minds. So in our mind, we're already clear, okay, we have to do this thing. So optimism, I feel, is a very strong and the first component, a positive component of any of in our lives. If we are all professionals developing ourselves, and optimism is something which gives us a lead, which gives us an entry point to do something better than probably we can do. Creativity is, I think all of us have, people have started calling it innovation. Creativity is something which helps us finding solutions, and our mind is always creative. They say that no one has any control on the mind, it is full of thoughts. So when we try to find solutions and we want to eradicate roadblocks, creativity helps us in coming in creating a focus. So how creativity helps us in our daily lives is giving us options, bringing a focus to us. Empathy. Empathy is something which is very, very different from people have been calling it pity. People have been, we sometimes feel that it is something to look down upon. Empathy is, I think, simply put, we all in our younger days, very young schooling days, have learned how can we put ourselves into another's shoes. So I think empathy gives us in feeling the pain of another person. So that is where empathy is, which probably helps us to be a better human being, be a better professional. Emotions. Emotions is something, like we say, that social impact and emotional quotient is something which this world is dealing with today. And probably the world is more wired. We are all more connected. We have loads and loads of information and data. And there is a tendency for Anil Suri to lose Anil Suri in today's world. So that is how emotions come in. And our effort to control our emotions, to be normal, to weigh down our emotions, to be able to discuss our emotions with someone whom we trust. Emotions are always good if we can channelize them towards our task, if we can channelize them to do our work better. So emotions should always be taken positively. And I think we should have faith in ourselves that yes, we are open to discussing our emotions. We are confident of channelizing our emotions. Learning. I think learning is, when we say lifelong learners, again, the more we are open to ideas, the more we are open to discussions, and more we are open to listening. The more we listen, the more we observe, I think the more we learn. The more we learn, the more depth we carry within ourselves. So if quoting, like seeing Amitabh Bachchan at his age, what he is achieving, and yet when we see Amitabh Bachchan in Kaun Banega Crorepati, and he talking to a young man of 25 years, a CA or an architect or a advocate, and trying to learn something when we watch him sitting on that table. So that is what learning does. Learning builds up. I think we grow with learning. We grow with learning, and all our learning, our brain is so strong. All our learning is, we can rerun it as a movie. It comes at some part of our life to help us. be it in a personal life, be it in a private life. Dashing, use this word dashing where most of the people use, maybe using personality. Yeah, yeah. If someone has an, I am open to even being an interactive session. So I heard someone. So dashing is, I always relate to personality. If the things that we just mentioned, optimism or creativity or empathy, emotions, I mean, we have all this, we are building up our personality. That is what is dashing. Dashing is one always should look younger. Why not? Because when you look younger, you actually staying healthy, you're warding off various illnesses. So that is what I call dashing as. So this is what the self. So about the soul, the first aspect of life skills I always value is building up upon ourselves, our personality, and I call it dashing. As we move ahead, the next phase of our the interpersonal approach of soft skills. And before I go on to it, I will quote an anecdote. Now, this is from one of the admirals of US Navy, and he's talking to, imagine such a senior person, he's giving a talk to officers on a passing out parade. Passing out parade is like graduation ceremony. So the only tip, there's a video at the end of this session. I'm going to share with you some pictures, some links for all of you, because there's such a vast field. So for all of you to browse, go through, and probably this is all, even as I was building up my topic, I've been also learning. So what that admiral tells the young guys, he says the most important soft skill is to make your bed early in the morning. Isn't that strange? This is the only lesson in 1 minute, 10 seconds of a speech he has given. And he has linked it. He says, if you are willing to make your bed, if you know how to make your bed, okay, then you're starting the day well. You're starting the day with some confidence, and that's something you've done yourself. And because you've made your bed, probably you have moved your limbs. Because you have moved your limbs, your blood is into circulation. And then the psychological aspect is that if you made your bed, your spouse is happy, healthy. So the environment is all happy and healthy. It is an enabling environment. So that is, I'm giving you these very diversified views of various people. You know how from a Sister Shivani to an admiral, I mean, how people look at soft skills, how small things develop into our dashing personality. So when I'm talking of invoke, this is more like in the first part of soul was more personal. Invoke, when I'm saying interpersonal, and soft skills are totally about our interactions, be it in office, home, outside, courts, cases, clients. I mean, that is what. And here I've been able to identify in broad these three soft skills, you may call it qualities. Listening, I think the most important ability. And they say that if we follow 20-80 approach, 20% of the 80% of the time we listen, and only 20% of the time we use in speaking. Unless I can understand for you all, I mean all the legal professionals who are in court and you have to speak. So I'm talking in general. So listening is something which gives us attention, gives us focus, gives us a viewpoint, makes us amenable to ideas. It strengthens us. It strengthens us to something which we may not have thought. You know, they say the human mind, I mean, no two persons think alike. And when we discuss, we actually generate not only huge amount of ideas, we actually come to a plan also. So listening, I feel, is the bedrock of, especially for a legal profession, be it you're listening to a client, to an opponent lawyer, to the judge. I mean, if we have listened correctly, I'm sure our 80% of the battle is won, because if we have listened correctly, we know how we can build up on our narrative to all that we have listened to, our case, our narrative, our counter, so all that. And this is something which we should practice. It is purely by practice, and it requires a lot of patience. So I would suggest that yes, if we can spend some time in listening to each other and be conscious of it, probably we will be stronger. We will also be we'll learn more and faster. Expressive, soft skills is a lot about communications. So because we keep talking of communication skills, so I'm not using the same old cliche words here in this our discussion today. I'm trying to use things which are more even terms, vocabulary which is more practical, which is more personal to us. We express ourselves always. So expressive is, now what is the importance of expressive? Expressive is, it has various connotations. It is verbal, it is written. And when I say written, it may be pen and paper, or it may be a WhatsApp, it may be a formal document. But what makes expressive important for all of us to know? We may have expressed ourselves, but are we sure that the other person, the recipient, has also accepted or agreed, or he has also understood? He has comprehended the way we have expressed ourselves. So that is why they say, when you express anything, be sure or put ourselves into the shoes of the other person to whom we are expressing, be it a child, a spouse, a parent, grandparent, boss, client, I mean, whatever, that we should have in mind the knowledge levels, the understanding of the other person. It is not related to only the language. That yes, are we being taken into right earnest, that we have expressed ourselves, but have we been understood also in that manner? So that is why expression, be it verbal, written, spoken, is very, very important. Only for this reason, that it should be understood the way we are conveying, wanting to. Negotiation. And just to stress, we will be coming these three skills that are on our screen here will be coming again and again into our little time that we have of our session. Negotiation is about coming to a common acceptable result. And the best way to achieve or to indulge in negotiation, to start with, one is laying minimum benchmarks, and also to have others interest in view. I mean, what is the interest of others? Because it has to be a win-win. And no negotiation can be complete unless the other person's interest has also been partly taken care of. So that is important of negotiation. And I think good negotiations are being open to negotiation, are being good negotiator, arbitrator, is the call of the time in today's times. In today's times of very fast-paced world, very strong structures, very lengthy legal processes, I think negotiation is our best bet today. And this is a skill which it takes time. We all can build up or develop upon it. Yeah.
Absolutely correct, sir. Absolutely correct.
Okay, now this is something, I wouldn't call it original. This is innovative. I was trying to put myself into your shoes, what happens in the life cycle of any case. So this is just a picture. I mean, there is legal professional, we are all in the center, and there is a client, there is a court. Okay. The client gives us a story. We discuss it with the client. Then we prepare a draft. On that draft, a case is built, okay, presented to the court, their arguments, and then there is a verdict. Okay. So my next few minutes would be revolving around, I think I am right. I mean, even if someone wants to correct me, I think you can give your input at a little later stage. So I have tried to relate soft skills to this life cycle, to this process that goes on. And I'm aware that everything is not litigation today. There are law firms, there are corporate HR offices. It's happening on electronic medium. So there's corporate law. I mean, there are teaching law professionals. So I have taken a small sample as in litigation, but as you see, it would relate to a typical corporate office or an HR office or a corporate law firm. Yeah. So we will see the client part first, which is more important. What skills should we build up to, you know, yeah. So there is a story. Okay. Now, every client has a story. So some things which have been covered earlier, I'll not take time in delving so that we can cover it. So listening, I already mentioned how important it is. Questioning ability. This is something, they say you ask the right question, you get the right answer. So, and our inquisitiveness, we should, like they say, as we grow up, we become a little formal, a little serious in life. How inquisitive children are when we see them playing in the rain. I mean, whatever their normal games in the house, outside, they're very inquisitive. They're very experimental, very investigating. So I mean, all lawyers, I'm sure, are investigating, but they also have another role is how we all as probably legal professionals question ourselves to get the right picture. The questioning is not to show down another. Now, you know, it is a lot about intentions. Our questioning is to strengthen us to build up our case, so, to get the right answers, to get the correct answers. So that is what is questioning ability. Writing. Writing is a very important skill. There is absolutely no shortcut to it. I think this needs to be practiced. And why it needs to be practiced is because writing is not only linked to verbose, to our grammar, to English skill. Writing here is related to the typical language of the courts, the typical acts or the statutory requirements. So that is the importance of writing. And again, they say that everywhere being very verbose doesn't help. And we can't also be too scriptive, totally summarizing. So it has to be the right balance between being elaborate and between being very crisp. So that is the importance of writing, in using the right words or phrases where these are not derogatory and yet they are very strong. Yes, we should always be on a strong foot. We should use strong language, but our language should be very well balanced and not derogatory, never derogatory. So that is the importance of writing here. It is a very important form of communication. Summarizing. Summarizing in our profession, I think most important, ultimately, it all comes to how we summarize. I think I'll delve into it a little more as we go on into the next phase, which is the discussion phase. I would say this much here. While summarizing, we should never miss the cream, the heart of the matter should remain there. Yeah. So here, when we come to a discussion stage between clients as us, I mean, there is a story and we are discussing. Again, the skills which listening, communicating, I have said, which also questioning ability is part of it. Negotiations, I delved into it. Into negotiation here with client is based on not financial transactions. What I mean here is clients will always be emotional. Negotiating is in getting the client to see reality of life. And it all cannot happen that you bring someone's emotions from here to here, absolutely down. These all have to be, slowly and slowly a common path from high emotions to you're working on emotions and bringing pragmatism and where they meet. So that is negotiation where you see the client also see the practicality or light of the day. So that is the importance of negotiation skills. Yeah. The draft. The next is working on the draft. Now here I was wondering because all of us do it. All of us. I mean, it is drafting is a very important part of our lives, each of our lives. It is not left only to draftsmen. Yes, there are people who are very good secretaries, who are very good draftsmen. I think we are lucky if we have such people, but ultimately responsibility remains ours. So analyzing the first skill, analyzing is what are the implications of what we are writing, what the case is, what are its implications, which are the acts which may be relevant to it. So this analyzing is a sort of a 360-degree, where we should be able to see the previous decisions of the court, what our client has given to us, what the law says. So under that spectrum, that is an analysis, the story or the draft that we have picked up, or the story after discussions, it is in that rough draft stage. So that is how we have to analyze. And where correlating, where I have used the word correlation. Correlation is the word 360 degree is more relevant here, is where we are thinking of past incidents, similar cases. I mean, that is what the level of awareness should be, that we should be able to link up our preparation of the draft or preparation of the case to the past happenings. That is how when we correlate it to those manners, and also to various acts in various chapters. So that helps us to build our probably draft better. Sequencing. We all, soft skills will always mention presentation skills. So I have not mentioned presentation skills at all, because I think all of us here, especially all of you who are much younger, are very good into computing skills, into presentation skills. So I'm not using, like I told you earlier, I'm not using typical language of a lesson. Sequencing is how it is not only sequencing of our thoughts. If our thoughts are sequenced correctly, our paper, our draft, our case, we would sequence correctly. Because each matter is relevant and how it is to be projected. Because here we are dealing with very formal structure. If we are into litigation, going to the court, if we are into a corporate office, we are again presenting it to someone where it will go to a formal office or formal or an opposing client, adversary, wherever. So sequencing is, and I think we can build up sequencing by, I feel there are very small tools that for each of these we can have. The tools that come to my mind for sequencing are pure logic and a systems approach, a systematic approach. If we follow that, I think our sequencing skills we can develop by using the right, probably logic, focus, or following a systematic approach. Documenting, I did not highlight here. I think the lawyers or legal professionals are the best. I feel in many ways the soft skills, probably we may say US may take claim, but I feel probably legal profession should give itself credit because of soft skills being built up or being talked so seriously is all due to legal profession. Because all of what I've spoken till now probably is your daily practice. So how important probably someone or various researchers or educators or intellectuals have gone into studying a legal profession and then I think chalking down. So you should all pat yourself on the back that yes. And for documenting, I think I have a lot to learn from legal professionals or the for any lawyers, good lawyer's office. Okay, now let us go to the court side of that little chart which I had showed to you. There is a legal professional, there is a client and a court with that interlinking processes. So case is the building up of the case is the first process. And presenting, I would say, is an art. Be it presenting on paper, be it making, I don't know whether those are the Abhishek, what Manvis and Chibbers and all those lawyers, I mean, those who present in the court, those, or should I be talking of, I mean, those who have gift of the gab. So presenting takes into account both. It takes into account our presenting on paper, and it takes into account when, of course, the case is in that hearing stage. So how do we build up presenting. I feel the tool or the small little assistance I can give you is through, always have keywords in place. Always keep it short, make it impactful. Use phrases which are impactful, which are directly linked to some authority, some act. So these are the key cues which I can share with you in practicing good presentation skills. Keywords, keeping it short, keeping it impactful. Listening, I would not delve more. We have really time management. I think time management, I may be saying in the case of here as a case, but it's most important facet of soft skills in our daily lives. Yeah. This is something some of us are very good at it. I am not good at time management. I may be preaching you here today. I'm not so good at it. People who are good at it, yes, a lot of things help. I also at one stage have been doing diary, noting down, calendar. I'm telling you, it helps. It helps, and it's so very important. I mean, when we say time management, it is not only being very serious, it is also finding time for our little tennis or movie or whatever. So time management is keeping us alert. Alert is the word. We should be alert while in the office. We should be alert in our personal lives, on the road, going home or being with the family. So the time management is the essence of life. And probably the cues that I can share with you with experience are, having timelines. And there is someone, who said, one of our seniors, he once quoted, like, it's very easy for us to throw tantrums, be it with our boss or with our juniors. Oh, sir, I'm very busy. Or we'll tell our boss will say, I mean, unke secretary bolenge, main bada busy hu aaj. So I'm giving you a quip. One of our seniors told us, a busy man always has time for others. If you keep it at the back of your mind, you will always realize that, yes, we can manage our time well. And we are in a profession where we got to have time for others. We got to have time for ourselves also. So time management is by not only by timelines, in prioritizing at the beginning of the day. Like some people say that they start the day with, going into their minds or seeing their calendar. And when they end their day, I mean, it also, they say, not only as meditation, it also, when they close their eyes, okay, what all have I gone through today? And okay, what all should I be doing tomorrow? But what are my priorities? My priorities tomorrow. So time management, the most important part in life. So I think this you can underscore. Okay. So we move into the arguments phase of, or the skills that would arm us well, that would support us in being like they say, don't be argumentative. Be good in arguments. Don't be argumentative. So I'll use that same cliche here. Listening is fine. Highlighting, yeah. Highlighting is, I think I've come across a lot of good lawyers in personal and private, official, professional life. Highlighting, they are able to pick up the keywords. And I think why they're good at picking up the keywords in prioritizing is because they're good listeners. So that is how they are able to highlight what is important. Response. Yeah. Before response, I'll take up the word analysis. I think we dealt with that earlier also. Analyzing is not only our case, analyzing is also, like in the army, they taught us when we were youngsters and we were learning the skills of war. They told us it's not important to know yourself, to know my arms, my weapon, my army. I should be knowing more about the enemy. So when I'm talking of analysis here, I am using the same example to share with you. Probably it is important for you also to know the, probably not only analyzing your case, but probably the analysis of the mind of the opponent lawyers, of the judges, of analyzing the previous judgments. which have been on similar cases, but relating it to those. So that is how analysis, analysis is all about your own strength and weaknesses. When I'm saying own is the case, there'll be some strength, there'll be weakness. And similarly, when you get the opponent's, the other lawyer's view, the strength and the weaknesses. So that is analysis all about. Response. Some may call it rebuttal. I am calling it response, because a response should be very, very calibrated. They say that 80% of our life or 80% of our success in life, uh, it reflects, or it depends on how we respond to various situations in life. I'm dealing, and here I'm talking of situations in life. In this case, dealing with the response here in the court is dealing with the case. So how we respond to it, the response has always to be very measured within the parameters of the case. It has to be strong. It has to be related to exact the clauses. So these things one should keep in mind. One should not get flow. I mean, one can be very vocal, very verbose, but one still tends to lose if we have not, our response does not give the key clauses. So that is why the response is so important. Keywords, choice of words, quoting the exact clauses. Okay, so we move from the arguments to the last phase of what I'll call it verdict. I mean, though
Sir,
people
I
will
have just
say that,
one question. Sir, can I ask one question?
please, please, sure, so nice.
Sir,
Thank you.
for sure, sir. Sir, what transforms a strong argument basically into one unbeatable one? Like, if
Pardon,
I
sir.
present strong arguments, how can I make it unbeatable one?
Yes, yes. It, see, I think to make it unbeatable one, it has to be related to the actual clauses of the law. That is the most important factor. See, one cannot be wishy-washy here. We are dealing with law. So that is most important, is dealing with the law. That is one. Second is there will be some weaknesses in our argument. There are, I mean, because you have various kind of clients. Client is very emotional, something you have put it. So there will be something which is a weak part of yours, where you can build up unbeatable one is where I am prepared. Okay, I know this is my weakness, but I am prepared with some other case earlier, or it happened in some other court where there was some padding up, some cover, some quote of the judge that covered up for part of it. Okay, or if I can read between the lines of my weakness and relate it to something which I know the law gives me a punchline. So that is how I can, just across the table you ask me, so these come to my mind in making it unbeatable.
That's very good answer, sir.
They have to be very, very precise and very accurate. See, in law, accuracy is foremost, and being foresighted in knowing your weakness and building up on it with facts from law only. So that is how I can share with
Okay,
you.
sir. Got it, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for, suddenly waking me up also. I
Thank
was
you, sir.
just only talking. Thank you. Okay. So coming to the last portion of the life skills or soft skills, where we deal with a verdict. I think no case in my view ends with a verdict, and it should not happen with any legal professional. I think verdict itself is a big case study. We should take it as a big beat in our favor. It should be a bigger case study if verdict is not in our favor. That is how they say in life, one learns more by mistakes, by losses, by challenges. So that is why I have delved upon verdict, various skills in studying the verdict, analyzing it. I spoke earlier. When I talk about translating is not typical transcription. I mean, not translator. Translating is in identifying the scope of that verdict, in drawing the limits of that verdict. Very important. Has it covered the entire case of ours? Is something left out of it? What are the boundaries of this verdict? And in identifying what scope, does it leave any scope for me? Has it covered 100%? So that is the most important. Those skills, that's why I'm calling it the translating skills. I think we should imbibe those, we should practice those. And it can happen if we study each verdict that where we have been able to, where we are personally involved. Deciding life is all about choices is a very, very, I think everyone says, our parents said it, our gurus say, life is about how you make your choices. You make your life by making choices. It is, of course, a fact. Our decisions, draw our career path, our personal life, various decisions that we take. But how can our decision management be good? Because when there is a verdict, a legal professional has to decide whether on that verdict you still want to pursue or you want to close the case. So I think that decision matrix becomes important. So how I will like to deal with decision skills, I will like to build up my skills is, I will like to jot down the advantages or the gains and the losses that I'm making. It is not in terms of money that I'm calling it, in nowhere in financial. I'm relating it with respect to the case. That okay, it is whether there are benefits, long term, short term, likely damages. I should use the right word, damages, in whether I'm pursuing or I'm not pursuing. This can happen. I mean, if we look from this spectrum, our spectrum should be we are looking at the advantages, we are looking at the damages, we are looking at its short-term implication of that verdict, we are looking at long-term. So these are I am trying to share, which I try to pen down cues with you, that how you can build up these skills here. Okay. So, having finished what can we have that little diagram which we had of the legal professional and the case at the court? Can we have that again? Yeah. So, how today I'm dealing with this soft skills is, I mentioned a little bit about the soul, about ourself, and about interpersonal. I try to link it up with what happens in the life cycle of a case. Now we go on to the last that phase is, there are two other connotations. I told you life skills I see as SIPs. So I've covered soul, I've covered I is the impact. Now is the another is P and S. The P is in provoke. Provoke is more of team. Can we have the discussion on provoke? Provoke is all about team building, team interactions. Till now, we were we were talking of skills as we see and as an individual. I thought I should cover this aspect where we are dealing with large law firms, we are dealing with large offices. So I use the word provoke. Provoke is how you build up a team, the skills. So the first thing that came to my mind is respect. I mean, it is the core. I think respect is the cornerstone of our life, of all relationships. I should not delve more into it, but this helps in building up strong teams. Respect for each other, respect for each individual, respect for time. So respect for the case. Time is very important. Respect for time. So respect covers a lot of those issues. So this is a skill which we should build up into ourselves. Accommodate. Accommodate is about various views. The more views we invite, the more preferences we see through. We may have a particular preference. The more preferences we are aware of, and the more views we invite, I think we will be accommodative. We should build up those skills where we are more accepting. Support in a team. How does it help? I mean, it is in our daily life, we see that we are good in writing, someone else is good in speaking. I don't know how I'm making this presentation to you today of soft skills. There may be someone who is a better presenter, probably. I may be good in making a document, So support is a skill where we are able to complement each other, support each other. That is how the team grows stronger. And there is there is a little team is also used an acronym that together each what each I think together each of us do better or something, as a team. So that is what the cliche is. And the last one is solve. Life is all about solutions. Ultimately, we are finding solutions to life. So how do we build up solutions? How we are known as a solution provider? How do we solve problems? I think this skill is developed through optimism when we are looking for finding solutions, when we are finding options, we are chalking out a chart towards finding a solution. So that is how we develop this skill of solving problems, and this is most important, which we should do in our practice in our daily life, and not leave any problem for someone else to solve. That is why I have mentioned this solve here. In fact, we should be the first one to, if we got a case, rather than taking someone's advice, the first thing is working upon ourselves and then taking support of the team. So that is how the solve is. And same as if someone comes to us with a I wouldn't say a problem, a challenge, a query, I think attitude should be of solution, solve. So provoke we have seen now. I've used a very a subtle Hindi word called sarvagun. Now this is sarvagun. I want to close my my talking, and I think I'll be open to the session is through sarvagun, the skills of sarvagun. Discipline, I think I'll only say our family, our offices, our organization. There are some boundaries, there are some code of conduct. If we honor those, I think we will be better off in life. Focus always. What at that time, at that point of time when we are working, one should never lose focus. Time management, I think we delved earlier. Values, yeah. I think each home, each family, we have all come up with very traditional values, and these values are of respect, of faith, of trust, of acceptability. These values do wonders. We may not in professional space, in a court, it may be our friend we are dealing with. Probably there we are as professionals. We should never lose focus of basic values where each one is a human being. An opposing lawyer is not our enemy. Tomorrow the same client would be with him or with her. I mean, it is so all of us as human beings, if we keep at the bottom of our humility, that we are human beings, we are good people, we are respectful. I think that is why I gave a lot of focus on Sarvgun as the pillar of all soft skills. And these little four things: discipline, focus, time management, and values. So thank you here. And I think I would sum up with just revising, why I added the word SIPS to just the next one, please. So this is my acronym I have formed. SIPS. My whole session was on SIPS. When I say SIPS, इन हिंदी मैं एक हिंदी बोलने वाला हूँ. चुस्की बोलते हैं ना, चाय की चुस्की, या वो एक ठेल वाले के पास उसकी कुल्फी की चुस्की. सो सिप्स इज चुस्की. लाइफ में ना छोटी छोटी चुस्कियों से लाइफ बनती है. So when I told about SIPS was house, S stands for soul, that is self. I is invoking interpersonal skills. P is provoke is building up your team. And S again is Sarvgun. We should all be Sarvgun Sampan. I think we are all good human beings. Okay, so with that, and I end, and I would always say one thing that I have left here is always, which we always talk of ideals. Everything will move in the right manner. It never happens in life. So something I am leaving for some future session is crisis management or contingency planning. That is a very important skill which we should all, but it's such a vast topic. I didn't want to, so I didn't broach it here, but I am leaving you all with a food for thought that yes, crisis management or contingency planning is a very important skill for us to develop. Contingency planning, when I'm saying, is when we are saying, okay, this will happen in the court, we should be able to say, okay, नहीं ऐसा नहीं होगा, शायद उस दिन जज चेंज हो गया या एडवोकेट ने कोई प्ली दूसरे ने दे दी, इस तरह से होगा. We should be prepared for various contingencies that may erupt. So that is the importance of contingency planning in our life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I find a lot of ladies here. I thank you because, the ladies, they say, are natural, very good in soft skills. So due to all the ladies present here, I was very, very strong today and very confident of my session. So I have also added up, this I'm sure we will be able to share with you all. Two slides which I have prepared, something I have uh, just scripted. In nutshell what soft skills is, and there are some links also in the next slide, and I'm sure we can share with you all, which you can in your own time work or browse these for being or mastering your own soft skills. Thank you so much. I am very much open to any queries, anything where we can interact.
Thank you so much for this amazing
Thank you,
session,
sir.
sir. We are open to anybody's question. Please unmute yourselves and then we can entertain your questions.
Please, sir. Sir, I have a question, sir. Sir, how my question is, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, how can lawyers use skill like persuasion and conflict resolution in mediation and arbitration?
Okay. In lawyers to use it in mediation and arbitration. Okay. See how probably
Yes, sir.
I feel mediation or arbitration is a very, very, I think, if it comes up very widely, it's a win-win situation for all of us. Honestly, building up on court cases, and as it is, we are, as human beings, we are so used to in our daily life making a little negotiation or mediation here or there. But yes, how to build it up as a skill? You know, a good mediator, a good lawyer will find a point of convergence. Convergence is where opposing sides, where you know that okay, ये थोड़ा ऊपर जाता है, ये नीचे जाता है, या ये इतना ground देता है, या ये so convergence is where opposing points मैं यहाँ तो मिला सकता हूँ, but beyond this they will वो धागा टूट जाएगा. So convergence, I use the word convergence. Okay, so one is convergence that comes to my mind. Second option is, I think, always all clients are, I have also been a client, we are very emotional. If we can bring up the two opposing sides to some form of practicality, और वो time के साथ होता है कि थोड़ा थोड़ा उनके emotions, when they start seeing emotional होते हैं, तो they see in a different light कि मैं जीतूंगा, मैं सही हूँ, we always feel I am right. But then धीरे धीरे when reality dawns, when we see what is law, when we also introspect, मुझे टाइम मिलेगा, मैं जब देखता हूँ, अरे यार अभी तो मैं कह रहा था सही हूँ, फिर मुझे लगा नहीं यार मेरी गलती थी, मैंने उसको, आई हैव डन टेकन दिस रॉन्ग स्टेप, आई सेंट हिम अ रॉन्ग नोटिस, या मैंने उसको. सो the point I'm telling, the second, first was conversion, the second point that comes to my mind is that if we can, as legal professionals, though we can be empathetic, but we should be pragmatic, we should bring the parties to pragmatism. हम अपने इमोशंस को कंट्रोल करके we bring the parties to a level of pragmatism seeing the reality. So that is a skill, probably bringing to convergence and bringing the clients to see from emotional stage of life to pragmatism. These are my thoughts.
Thank you, sir, for answer.
Thank you, Aftab. Do we have anybody else who has to ask a question?
I find some hand being raised, some Mr. Dave or Mrs. Dave, Miss Dave, some hand is raised, someone's.
Yes. Hi, Devendra Kumar. Sorry, you're not audible, sir. You're not audible, Devendra.
Yeah, I cannot hear anything.
Anybody
Till
else?
Yeah, yeah, I want to say something about this session. Sir, this is Rajesh Changde, advocate, and you have
Oh,
given, yes, sir.
Rajesh, you are the one whom I feel I have learned optimism from you.
No, that's your goodness, sir. That's your goodness. But today I have in this session, I have learned from the aspect what should be our thought process when a client comes to us, and how we should listen to his problem, how we should you can say that should not be a problem, that should be, we should think that it is not a problem, it is a query, and how we can give a solution to that query, and how to draft to get the solution. First of all, we have to find out what is the problem, and because if we don't know what is the problem, then we will not be able to help that person who has come to us for that solution. Then, if after understanding the problem or that query, we find out a solution, then we draft a petition or a complaint, and which is very important to deal with the case, that we should know what judgment should become in our favor, what our client wants from us, and till the argument, and in the last, we should be aware what should be the result, what should be the verdict of that particular case. And throughout this journey, you have given us a different picture. I have never gone through that picture till date. I must say that, sir. So this is very insightful, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
No, no, thank you so much. It's been big learning for me, because when I started writing, and I should actually tell you, there is a lot of writing work that I want to show you, so that you believe everything has to be, skills
No, sir.
have to
No. It appears this was a different aspect, that how to deal with the client, how to deal with the court, how to deal with the opposite counsel, how to deal with the case when a verdict comes against us or in our favor. Then these all things, what goes in our mind. You have given everything. You have I think covered everything in this session, sir.
बट आई वुड रिमाइंड एवरीवन, मैंने सबसे पहले एक चीज बोली थी, हमें सुबह अपना बेड बनाना चाहिए, फर्स्ट सॉफ्ट स्किल.
Absolutely great, sir.
थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
थैंक यू. बाय बाय एवरीवन. सो नाइस. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, sir. We look forward to having you again.
Yeah, certainly. I think I have already given the topic for the next, and we can take a lot of input from all the participants. And please share these two slides. I mean, these, should be open for anyone, these links, and those who all want to study soft skills further. And certainly, I think we'll delve on contingency planning and crisis management again. And we can, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.